Alright, I'm doing this again, ranking different types, styles, forms of photography that I like and don't like. I picked these categories myself, and I'm doing this because I'm tired of whack photographers getting praised for whack photos. It's time to put an end to it once and for all. First up, we got car photography. I picked this photo because I don't know, this is like what comes to mind when I think of what a car photographer looks like. They might look different. Tell me if I'm wrong. Cars are like the second easiest thing to take a photo of, besides flowers, which I explored in the last video. Not to mention car photography now, it all looks the same. All of it looks the same. They just take a car to like a gas station or a 7-Eleven, take some shots, and then slap an edit over it and make it into a TikTok or a reel or something. I really hate it because it's just so boring. Everyone does it the exact same way. All the photos look the exact same. And they probably all shoot on Sony. It goes in the C category. There are some good instances, but it's just not my thing. Next up, we got macro photography. It seemed like last time there was some misconception because I picked the wrong photo to represent someone taking a photo of a flower, and people got livid in the comments and told me that it was macro photography and that it's actually very challenging. I'm here to tell you it's not. It's lame. It's not challenging. The flower is not moving. It's standing still. You don't have to do anything. The only places that you see macro photography is like dental offices or hospitals or like a science textbook or something like that. So I actually have a special row dedicated for macro photography called handcuffs, and it's its own special row. It stays right there because anyone who does it should be locked up. Next up, we got liminal space photography. This can be cool. Just like empty spaces or like hallways or something like that. Some area void of people. It's cool, but I think all of them are like edited the same or shot the same. They look like they're all shot on CineStill film. It's just a little boring for my taste, but I like the idea of it. Could be better. It's better than car photography, 100%. Next up, we got shock photography. This, to me, is just really cheap, and it's not genuine. Forcing a reaction out of your subject by whacking them in the face with a flash in the middle of the street. It just seems like really cheap to me. I have very little respect for people that do it. It's honestly better than car photography though. There are some good instances. Don't care. Alright, we got food photography. I'm treading on thin ice here because my girlfriend really likes food photography. I don't know, to me having food as your subject just seems really boring. Like, it would have to be a really cool looking dish or a really cool looking plate for it to really stand out to me. Otherwise, just keep it on Pinterest or your Instagram stories or whatnot. It's worse than car photography. D tier. Sorry. Next up, we got pet photography, pet portraits. I'm just not a fan. I'm not one to get really easily impressed by a photo of a dog or a cat. Maybe if it's like a lion or like a polar bear or something, that would be sick. I don't know. It's worse when there's like a backdrop for it, where it's like an actual like portrait setting, because it's so cheesy. It's so corny. But like portraits of like your dog like in your living room is like slightly better. Or like your dog like attacking another dog. That's so dope. I don't know. Food photography is better. Next up is AI photography. I really hate this. I despise everything that it is. It's not photography. You can barely call it art. It takes zero skill other than what 2 sentences you type into the prompt for the AI to create. Like I said, it's not photography and you can hardly call it art. For this one, I'm actually going to add another row for this as well. Pain. We should inflict pain on whoever does AI photography. Sunset photography. Sunsets are really nice. They're beautiful. Throwing my hands up because it's just boring. Like, I don't really have much else to say. Sorry, I'm just not a fan. It makes me think of like these like Easter ads that you get like on your door. Anyways. It goes up there. Actually, it's better than Pets. Sorry, I'm not a big fan of it. D tier though. I just named this like TikTok BS, like smashing your lens or like taking the lens out of a disposable camera and putting it on your digital camera so that your photos look like film when you could just shoot film. I'm also not a huge fan of whatever this is.
Focus on the headlight and place it directly in the middle. Press the shutter and I kind of just twist the camera whilst trying to keep the headlight in the middle of the shot. This may take a lot of tries. Once you get your timing right, you should get yourself something like this.
Oh my gosh. The only thing worse than car photography is the TikTok BS mixed in with the car photography. I hate TikTok and I hate Instagram Reels. It goes in the handcuffs category. Next up we got protest photography. It's cool if you're shooting like a protest that really means something. I feel like a lot of people just go to these half-assed protests. You're not really like documenting anything important or saying anything important with your photos. And I think people that do protest photography think they are doing way more than they actually are. I think in their minds they're very important and they're gonna like make it in history books one day, but you're not because you shoot generic photos. But I really like the documentary aspect of it. I'm gonna put it above liminal space photos. Next up we got Polaroid photography. I don't have a Polaroid camera, but I think they're really cool. Like instant physical copy of your photo. I'll tell you what's not cool though is this. It's like whack photos. Like this is just so lame. This though is a really cool Polaroid. It's a little bit of a larger format and it's kind of like a street portrait and I really like that way more than a dumb photo of a sky. Polaroid, it's cool. It's better than the car photography. Let's get real. Next up, portrait photography. This is the exact kind of portrait photography that I really hate. Really like saturated, like cinematic looking portraits that just look so cheesy. A lot of people's photos look like this, and I'm kind of just over it at this point. This is my man Vincent right here. This is a good example of what I think a good portrait is. I like this photographer's work. Something like this is way better. It's not cinematic as crap, and it doesn't look cheesy at all. The photographer knows what he's doing. I really like portraits. Portraits are kind of what got me into photography. I love a good portrait. I'm gonna put it in the S tier. Next up we got camera mirror selfies. We've all fallen victim to it. It's like so hard not to take a photo of yourself in the mirror with your camera. I think everybody does it at some point. When is enough enough? There has to be a limit. There has to be some self-control. D tier. I didn't even name this anything. I just named it stupid. So whatever the hell this is like, I don't know, like dumb edited photography. I guess I'll call them Photoshop warriors. I mean, this is just so whack. This is so lame, dude. If you're spending hours editing something like this, you just wasted so much of your time. It's like verging on being AI photography. I'm gonna put it in front of it in the pain tier. Next up we have Surrealism. I really like Surrealism because it takes a lot of thought and effort into the photos. I really like this shot a lot, but I'm gonna tell you what I don't like. Is this right here. I mean, he said it's so easy to do surrealism to just wear a suit. Come on, let's get real here. Other than that, if it's really good, if it's good surrealism, I'll put it in the A tier. Last we have quote-unquote photojournalists. By the way, whenever they go out into the street, I believe that they think they are these people. You are not. You are taking photos of people walking down the street and sitting on the bus. You are not taking photos of people dying. I just have a real problem with it, with people claiming that they are photojournalists. Because anybody can claim they are a photojournalist, but they are not. The idea of photojournalism is really cool because you're like documenting life. You're making photographs that will last for a while for future generations to look back on, so they can see what it was like to live in this certain time period. But a lot of people don't do that, and they just take whack photos, They like to hip fire. They like to take dumb portraits of girls on the street. I like the idea of it. It's better than protest photography. There's the tier list again.